This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with a gentleman who cannot be pigeonholed. He is an artist and illustrator. He draws, he creates. He's an amazing storyteller, the one and only Benoit Smith. But before we get to our interview, here is a sneak peek at Benoit's incredible talent.
Intrinsically shy, yet I do appreciate the titty attention all upon me. Desire to be left alone, stone cold. BC 314 AD eternity, burnt out your retinas upon a glance. I'm sure you've already seen. O-M-me, Godhead I be, still wrestling with the fucking density of this world. When you see these coils, it's because my head's been set in the world. Internally recoil all the way up in that fetal locked box. Maternal till I share with the octagonal bunches, afraid of each other's hunches, but we share the same wounds. But fuck it, agoraphobia to the utmost degree.
Well, hello, Benoit. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Benoit, doing so much better now that we are finally connected. And I love the fact that the audience just got a little sneak peek of you in action, of you drawing, illustrating. And we were talking a little bit off camera, and I have to say, I agree with you 5,000% when it comes to a society today that seems to like to pigeonhole artists with one or two superlatives that's easily digestible for them. So I agree with you there, but first question for you is, I want to know, when did you realize that you had not only a talent, but a love of drawing in art?
Okay, so that is actually a dichotomous question, so I'll answer the first part. So I actually came out the womb drawing Dragon Ball Z stick figures. That is in some ways responsible for my entire life path. I suppose the other half of that spectrum, though, the love aspect, comes from deep introspection, honestly, just realizing what it is that I have to actually contribute to the world and why the fuck I'm even here. And in a place that's not necessarily, you know, it's a struggling period, and it's like we have two options really. We can fuck off and do nothing, and or we can kind of carry the cross, our burdens, and use whatever aspects we have within ourselves to connect with others and accelerate culture. So that's where the love aspect comes from, really.
Well, I also love, and speaking of dichotomy, you know, and just perusing your socials, especially on your Instagram, I love this marriage that you just naturally create between your art and storytelling, whether it's a quote or a poem or a stream of consciousness piece, that everything about what you put out is art. And it's not segmented as, this is my drawing, this is my writing sample, look at me as a beautiful creative, but that it all kind of seems to bleed into one another, almost like a Monet. Is there something subconscious or conscious about the way you put art out?
I really like that question, thank you. It goes back to what we were talking about at first, though. It's we can't be limited, you know what I mean? It's not even just a cultural thing as far as pigeonholing people into identities that's easily digestible for consumers. You know, it goes down to being human, like the way we conceptualize ourselves. It's like, I can say that I'm just this cohesive person named Benoit Smith, or I can realize that there are many different aspects and drives within me. So it's subconscious, but then you're consciously understanding that and conceptualizing it as like parts, you know? I don't know if you know who Teal Swan is. No? Oh shit.
Educate me.
Okay. Teal Swan, how would I even describe her? She's a woman, I would describe her as like a psycho-spiritual surgeon. She pretty much has coined parts work. And parts work is essentially, again, conceptualizing yourself not as one cohesive thing, but consisting of many different aspects and drives. So let's say in this situation right now, there's an aspect of me that's both very excited to speak. There's an aspect of me that's quite anxious. There's there's an aspect of me who's hungry or whatever, you know. It's like in any given scenario, if we identify with just one aspect, then we'll get pigeonholed into that and we won't understand the totality of ourselves or what we're feeling. So I guess that's like a little microcosm, but macrocosmically, as far as art goes, it's like it's the same thing. I don't just draw, you know, I also write. I don't just write, I also make music. And it's like, I don't know, I love art in general. Life is art. The way that damn, I'm gonna quote myself, but the way that you like wipe your ass in the morning is art, you know, because it's individualized to you. And so
Amen. I like that. Chapter 1 in your memoir, my friend. Listen, I want to let the audience know for more on the incredible Benoit Smith. You can read more about him right below this video. Benoit, you mentioned something earlier, and thank you for being vulnerable about it, because it's something that remains consistent with whomever I've been very fortunate to speak with. Over 1,000 artists all over the world coming on board, you know, this new social media app. It's not only this need to connect for all artists, but that this was a really tough time for artists, forced to sit still with themselves and reacquaint themselves with that inner child, that inner bliss, that inner voice, dare I say, in why artists began to begin with. And so I'm curious for you, how have you been able to reacquaint yourself with that inner voice and child? Is it through the doing and through just unapologetically not overthinking and just doing the art?
It's both. Art is actually kind of my salvation for sanity in a sense. It's a generic ass thing to say, but it's kind of meditative, you know. It's like,
oh yeah, I don't think it's generic at all. Actually, I think it's very specific, clear, and profound.
Shit. I think that was clear, proficient, and profound. But yeah, I mean, okay, so for me, it's like, I don't feel like you can actually make art unless you go through deep introspection and have connected with yourself. Like otherwise, like you're putting out art, yes, but it's not truly of any specific value. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you translating? What are you trying to express? What are you trying to connect to, and who, and all these other things? And it's like, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's like when you're also making things. So firstly, I feel like, okay, there's this Hendrix lyric. Find yourself first, don't you be no fool. Find yourself first, and then your tool. And I feel like that encapsulates it right there. But the art also tells you what you're going through. Like I often find that if I look back at a piece with some distance in time, it's like, oh shit, word, that's exactly what I was going through, but it's a symbol of it. And I may have done some introspection and found whatever way to translate the way that I was feeling, but it's a duality. It's like, I think I know what I'm trying to express, but then I find out the other aspect of what it is that was already trying to express itself through me. It's like, I'm a midwife.
Well,
you know?
I agree. Well, I was just about to also say, I think I consider you a true artist, someone who has obviously done the work and continues to do the work to remain clear as a vessel of a language that at times we may not be able to express with words, but that with some perspective may be able to look back at what has come out of us as an opportunity to be like, I still can't describe it with words, but that emotional thing on that page is exactly how I felt. And I think that's the beauty of art. You know, we can express it to help heal ourselves, but it also becomes very healing for others.
Yes, precisely. Dude, listen, man, I'll get down on the podium. Like, what's up? You want to take it? Please, you can be like a, damn, there's a Dave Chappelle thing. It's like a translator or something. I don't, maybe it's not appropriate. But
listen, I know what you're saying. I know where you're going. I've been told iterations on a theme of what you're about to say, but I will take that with a grain of salt and just say thank you. Listen.
No, I really mean it. I really mean it.
Thank you. Well, listen, I love what I do as a director, as a creator. I sang for 25 years professionally. I know what it is to stand downstage center. I also know what it is to hopefully give a safe space for artists. to be their best selves. And
Mm.
I love artists. I am in love with the life or death stakes and choice it takes every day to
Word.
open one's eyes and say thank you, and here I go. You
Yeah.
know, jumping into a world with childlike wonder and possibility takes a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears that a lot of people don't realize.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly.
See, you told me to get on
100%.
my pedestal.
No,
Don't get me started.
no, in fact, I have a question for you. When you are on that stage, front stage and center, like, what do you feel is being channeled through you? Hopefully that's not a leading question, the way that I
No,
word
I
it.
mean, look at when I performed, when I used to perform, I used to channel the inner child within me that just got
Mm,
up in my living room with abandoned and
mm,
pretended I was singing at Carnegie Hall. And then when I got to play Carnegie Hall, my
fuck yeah,
dream came true.
fuck yeah.
But I then realized after that that it was a thank you to my
Mm,
parents, my twin brother, whom I performed with,
mm,
and my family and teachers who were all in the audience. But I then realized in that moment, Benoit, when I
mm,
hit my destination as a performer, I said, I want to now leave space for someone else to do
mm,
this. And that's what I knew in my gut I was going to become, what I think is my true bliss, which is a director and a creator. So
mm,
it's an interesting thing. When I was performing, I used to try to tap into that inner child. If I was ever nervous or overthinking, I was like, what would young Will want to do right now? And how
mm.
would he wanted to express it? So that's my long answer.
No, I really like that answer. In fact, it kind of helped illuminate something for me. So I guess I always think of the way that things come through me as being channeled from God essentially, and whatever fucking
Yes, no,
you know,
no,
like
God,
whether
spirit,
it's,
whatever one believes
you
in.
know,
I feel
the
you.
real Slim Shady. No,
Listen,
but
I hear you. Keep going.
well, here's the thing. Like, okay, so firstly, I guess I always default to saying that because I know that, like, honestly, I'm just a channel for that. But
Right.
at the same time, there is definitely a shit ton of where it comes from for me personally is my inner child, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know, that's something that I've always had like a visceral felt experience of, but I don't think I actually acknowledge it enough intellectually. So I do appreciate you saying that.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, my friend, we're all helping each other out. We're all doing the best we can in these crazy times, one foot in front of the
Word.
other. But listen, I could speak with you forever, Benoit. But listen, I want to let our audience know for more on the amazing Benoit Smith. You can read more about him right below this video. Benoit, I'm excited you're coming on board this new social media app, and I'm also excied that we're now connected. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was lovely, truly.
Thank you.